early release of the book. They knew that his father was an admiral and wanted to seize on the propaganda about him. But John McCain refused. He refused to leave captivity met his fellow soldiers because he believed in the military code, first in, first out. John McCain was tortured, spat upon, beaten, held prisoner for more than 5 years. I couldn't help but notice, Senator McCain, in the recent debate in South Carolina that several of the candidates moved with great ease and gracefulness as they discussed torture. There was one candidate who had trouble lifting his arms. He didn't move with the gracefulness and ease of other candidates, and that's the one candidate that actually suffered torture. These are challenging times for South Carolina and our beloved country. We must choose a president who has the experience, the moral courage, and the strength of character to lead us through troubled waters toward full hope. Like you, Senator, I yearn for a simpler, more peaceful time, but that is not the world we live in. It's not the world our children want to grow up in. I wish our children knew nothing of a place called Oklahoma City or a house called Columbine. I wish our children didn't know a man named Osama bin Laden killed police officers and firefighters, or the college campuses could be crime scenes. The world is complicated and dangerous and calls for a unique kind of leader. I can't think of a person on this planet with whom I agree on every issue. I'm not looking for a parrot. I'm not looking for a mirror. I'm looking for someone who changes with the vicissitudes of life. I'm looking for 3 C's: courage, conviction, and character. And oh yes, I'm looking for me, a lady named Clinton. Welcome.
Abigail, thank you. You're a beautiful young lady. It's fortunate to take after your mother. Thank you. Thank you, Trey. And thanks for the great job. This guy puts a lot of bad guys in jail. I think you know that. We also have our Republican Spartanburg County Sheriff, Debbie Boomer, and Trey Gester. You're Debbie and Debbie. Very good to see you. Thanks very much. Thank you all for being here this morning. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be back at this place of wellness and fitness and locale. But I am here at the week. I love it here. Been here many times before. I want to thank our veterans for being here. I see a number of them with and our local VFW Post Commander. Thank you, sir, for being here. Thank all of you. Have a brave young Navy pilot still serving in the reserve. Sir, would you thank you for your service? I guess I have to tell one brief story, and that is that not long before I retired from the Navy, I was over at the Officers Club in San Diego at the bar having a Coca-Cola. Most fighter pilots do, and standing next to me was a very old, senile-looking guy. As a matter of fact, looked a lot like our post commander. Thank you, sir. And he was wearing one stripe on his sleeve. I said, that's the lowest rank you can have and still be an officer in the Navy. I turned to him, I said, how long have you been in the Navy? He said, 37 years. I said, really? I said, how come you're never promoted? He said, I was based at the 1st Squadron at Guadalcanal, early in World War II. Every night, a Japanese airplane used to fly over our field. One plane. And it was just a plane called Washington Machine Charlie. It was just a harassment raid. But the siren would go off. I'd have to come out of my tent, get in the airplane, start the engine, sit there. Pretty soon, because it was just a harassment raid, the all clear siren would go off, shut down the engine of my airplane, go back to bed. It was terrible. I wouldn't get any sleep. Food was lousy. I solved the problem. I went out in the jungle and I caught this monkey. I trained this monkey that when the siren went off, he would come out of the jungle, get into my airplane, start the engine, sit there, and then when the all-clear siren would go off, he would shut down the engine of my airplane, go back in the jungle. It was wonderful. I was sleeping like a baby every night. But sure enough, it was not Washington Machine Charlie. It was a real Japanese airplane. I came out of my tent just in time to see that monkey taken off in my airplane. I said, I can certainly see why you were not promoted. He said, that's not what makes me mad. The monkey retired as an admiral. I think we served with that admiral, Chief. Anyway, I'm happy to be with all of you. I'm happy to be here. I was over in California recently doing a fundraiser. Actually, it was another event with the Governor Schwarzenegger. He and I have many similar attributes, as you can tell. Always in California, there's protesters. Sometimes here in South Carolina, too. But anyway, I walked by, and here's this great big guy, great big huge guy, and he said, "Hey, anybody ever tell you look a lot like Senator John McCain?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Doesn't it just make you mad as heck?" So I'm glad that you're here today, and I appreciate your kind welcome. I want to mention three things with you very quickly. One, I noticed this morning that the senator from New York, Senator Schumer, said there would be no more judges that would be confirmed since the Democrats now have a majority in the Senate that are nominated by the President of the United States. My friends, that shows you how terribly politicized Washington, D.C. has become. Isn't that terrible? That we're going to have vacancies for federal judgeships and the Democrats, without considering anyone's qualifications, without any regard for law and order, or so that people like Trey can do his job, that they're just going to block all judges for the next year and a half. That tells you how disgraceful and political and partisan the Democrats have become in the Congress of the United States, and especially the United States Senate. And I'm proud that Lindsey Graham and I worked together, and we got Justice Alito and Justice Roberts and a whole bunch of other federal judges through who are conservatives who believe in a strict interpretation. We do not need judges legislating from the bench. We need judges who strictly interpret the Constitution of the United States, and I'm proud of this president who appointed Justice Roberts, Chief Justice, and Justice Alito, and a whole bunch of other justices who will strictly interpret the Constitution of the United States. And I want to mention one other thing, how proud I am of your Senator Lindsey Graham. He is the only member of the United States Senate who is serving in the Air Force Reserve. He's a lawyer. Now that's the bad part, he's a lawyer. By the way, you know the difference between a lawyer and a catfish? One is a scum-sucking bottom dweller, the other is a fish. So anyway, Lindsey Graham serves his active duty as an Air Force Reserve Colonel. He's over in Iraq in July. He's going to go back in August to help the Iraqi people install the rule of law. It's the rule of law that matters. I'm proud that Lindsey Graham, the only Reserve Colonel, the only member of the United States Senate still serving in the Reserve, is doing the job for you and America in Iraq. And I want to tell you what an emotional moment he and I had on July 4th. We were in Baghdad, and you won't read about this in a lot of the media, and you won't see it in a lot of the media. You'll hear about people who've turned against the war, and you'll hear about an organization called Veterans Against the War, and you'll see Cindy Sheehan a lot. You probably didn't see in Baghdad when General Petraeus asked Lindsey and I to witness the reenlistment of 688 wonderful young Americans who are serving the armed services, who decided to re-enlist and stay and fight for freedom. I know how proud you are of these young men and women. I know how proud you are of the South Carolina Guard, who are doing a great job as we speak, who have been back and back and back, and have done a magnificent job. Probably harder than any Guard members have ever been asked to do in the history of this great state and in the history of America, and we're proud of it. And by the way, there was also 128 people there who who took the oath of citizenship. People who were not citizens, who had a green card, who were here legally with green cards, who decided to serve in the military and had an accelerated path to citizenship. 128 of them. By the way, it was supposed to be 130. 2 had been killed in the previous few days. My friends, that's the kind of thing that America is all about. That's what America needs to know about. And that's why we got to continue this strategy and win, W-I-N, in Iraq.